Hello, hey, welcome. So the 10.2 addendum here. Um, I know a lot of us kind of ran out of time in class, so we didn't have time to finish these notes. I wanted to get these out there to you guys. And for those of you who only watch 10.2 video, I think you'll see these later, but if you want to now, probably not a bad idea. All right. So 10.1, we looked at meiosis. But meiosis is hardly the end for these gametes. All right, I think most of you guys saw me at least start this diagram here. So it stands for meiosis 1. Meiosis 2. And then here's where we kind of ran out of time. So up top, first half of the page here, we have what we call spermatogenesis. I don't think I did this at all when we took notes today. But I'll go ahead and add in the chromosomes so we can all see those in there. Where these two blues are not as drastically different as I'd hoped. Sorry about that. Hopefully they come out all right. There we go. We'll go through meiosis 1. We split up the homologous pairs. Meiosis 2, we split the sister chromatids. And then what we're focusing on here is this last step right here. Ooh. So in males, the gametes elongate and develop a tail. So this process right here, spermatogenesis. Well, I think I spelled that wrong all day on the board too. E right there. Sorry about that. All right, so this process right here, the meiosis divides the DNA, makes haploid cells, and then the final of that project or that part is spermatogenesis, where in males, each gamete elongates and grows a tail. The page for this next part here. So in females, this process is a bit different. So in females, this process is called oogenesis. Which is not something necessarily that happens at the end, like it did up here for spermatogenesis, but rather it kind of happens along the way as you're going through meiosis 1, as you're going through meiosis 2. What happens, as you can kind of tell here, in one egg. The polar bodies, these very small cells, again, it's an unequal cytokinesis. We're not splitting these cells equally. So you can see here in meiosis 1, we have one large cell and one very small cell. Meiosis 2, again, we end up with one large cell and one very, very small cell. This one, I believe, does go through meiosis 2, although it's not necessary. It's producing two very, very small cells. The polar bodies generally get discarded. They're not necessary. They're not needed for life. So they're out. They're gone. Goodbye. The egg is the important part. In fact, it's the super important part. So this next step here, when male sperm meets a female egg, we call that process fertilization. And the result is called a zygote. Which is the first cell of a new organism. So sperm meets egg, and you get the first cell of a new organism, which we refer to as a zygote. Now, it's really, really important. The reason why females go through oogenesis and produce an egg, and that egg is so much larger than the polar bodies, is because ultimately the sperm, the male, doesn't contribute a whole lot during fertilization. Really, the sperm just delivers the DNA. The sperm's going to have just the DNA, basically, and then a whole bunch of mitochondria. It takes a lot of energy for these cells to move, to swim. And so they're really not helping a whole lot. This new organism, this new zygote, has to be able to have all the nutrients, has to have all the rest of the organelles to function, needs to be a nice, healthy cell. In order to do that, we need for that egg to be gigantic. It needs to be huge. It needs to have all the organelles it can have. It needs to have all the nutrients it can have. And so for that reason, that's why we don't have the equal splitting or the equal division of the cytoplasm. We are always getting one larger egg and one smaller egg. And that way we result with one really, really big and very, very important egg cell. Right back. Sorry about that. I wanted to change my colors here for the female. So the male had blue. And we'll give the female a little different shades. So that way, again, when we have fertilization, you'll be able to see that you're getting one chromosome from mom and one chromosome from dad. So this new organism ends up with a homologous pair of chromosomes, one from mom, one from dad. and another homologous pair of chromosomes, one from mom, one from dad. And again, the whole reason why this cell has the nutrients, has the organelles it needs, is because that egg provides them. Eggs are, I believe, the largest human cell. Just about see them without a microscope. One final note to add down here. All right, sorry about that. One last little note squeeze in there. So for females, oogenesis is done by the time you're born. So you'll never go through meiosis again and create more eggs. Males, spermatogenesis just continues throughout a male's life. Remember, I mean, it takes two to tango. Both are needed for fertilization, but really that egg is the important part. That's the big one. It's got all the nutrients, everything that the new zygote is going to need. All right, so that was the addendum. That was the added on bit of notes we had there today. Hopefully you guys get them. Hopefully it helps with your homework. And I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday.